25 years of this digital era of digital ID was a topic that I wanted to cover today. Like, what have we done in 25 years? And at the end, maybe a couple of words, what will happen in 25 years, which I don't know, of course, but I will still talk about it. But in 2001, we still were very much in the age which was defined by this 1993 cartoon, which said that, well, in the internet, basically you are anonymous, you can be whatever you want, whoever you want. And that wasn't okay for a lot of us. And the struggle was about the identity, to understand who somebody is in the internet, because we wanted to start providing personalized services. So the whole idea was that it's fine, the technology is fine, but we should provide targeted services, meaning that we should base the services on the data that people kind of have connected to themselves. So whether it's a public sector service, private sector service, everybody wanted to understand who that person is who is using the service at the moment, and there were no good methods to do that. One of the biggest dreams we had was that in 1999, European Parliament had decided that the member states, we were not part of EU, but we were looking at the EU and thought that we will one day be there and we want to be like them. Now we are like them, also not doing the thing that we promise. But we were looking at the EU and there was a promise that a signature made according to the rules in one member state must be approved, accepted, used as a valid document in another member state without any limitations. It's simply, if it was a legal signature in one, it must be a legal signature in another, as long as the member state where it originates from is following the EU rules. And that was a dream, that we could all do those things and we could all sign contracts, and then if we do that in the internet, then basically we get rid of the paper. Like, that paper was the enemy, and we started to go to this paperless world. I wrote a LinkedIn article last year that, to the shame of everybody, and it's not the engineer's fault, because the technology is there. The thing that was promised in 1999 in EU still is not there. You can try. You can take your documents from Latvia and send them to Spain, and you are failing most of the time. So we still have a lot of things to do in a context of the success that we are talking about here. So that was a dream. That was a dream for the banking sector, definitely, that I came from at the time, that we wanted to get rid of this signing of a loan agreement, signing of the credit raising, signing of the transaction confirmations. Everything was signed in the office physically, very hard. The dream was, let's make it all digital, put it in the e-banking environment. Wow, what an economy we will have. Like, a lot of loans issued to a lot of people. And there was no kind of a role model we could take that somebody has already done it. Like, that wasn't the case. We were in the field where everybody were kind of unclear how to do it. The fact that we to some extent have succeeded is a bunch of lucky accidents. The way how we actually convinced Mr. Laar to do that decision. Mr. Laar was just believing into his advisor, Linnarvik, who believed me. And I believed a lot of other people. And the fact that we all believed was not given. Like, this was all a bunch of lucky accidents, bunch of people in the right place with the right decision power. That's how we got here. There was no model to take, and we are not the model to take as well, because you cannot repeat what was in history. That simply happened. Let's take that as it was. And what was true then, that we had a huge, high-level issue of fraud. Like, at the time, we fought with the fraud as well. The fraud in banking was a huge thing, because the one-time password cards, those were presented as an empty sheet of passwords to the users, and user had to fill it in this conspiracy theory that bank has lost their data. And now they can recover the bank's data from their paper or plastic tokens. So the bank is very thankful after this event has happened. So that was a thing at the time. So fraud in banking sector to get people's money, that was a thing then, probably is in the future as well. So we come to that later on. So the foundations that we are kind of still continuing on, and so far we have done over the years. Just again, this is a boring part for geeks, but so we are still believing that the identity itself, like if you talk about identity, then it is not like a one thing. The identity is anything. It's a set of attributes that define one object. So for me, probably, if somebody would say who my father is, my mother is, and then would say year of my birth, I would be identified. That wouldn't use any of my identity code data or my name. That would be irrelevant because that set of attributes would identify me. So the identity is anything, a set of attributes that identifies me uniquely. And we still are working in the area where we talk about real things. So there must be something in the real world, and then we identify them in the digital world when they are acting. But when they are acting in the digital world, we have like an inherent issue of evolution. An inherent issue of evolution is that if you think about the digital world, and in the digital world, everything is digital, meaning that it's natural numbers from 0 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and nothing in between, no commas, no infinite kind of numbers there, no pi, basically. It's just natural numbers. And anything that computer understands, that deducts anything from, is the numbers. Meaning that if we want to now explain ourselves to the computer in a unique manner, to say that, well, this is me now who is acting, we should produce computational unique outcome. None of you can. Me neither. Like, I'm a mathematician by education, I cannot. I'm pretty sure you cannot as well. Any calculator you take is better than you. Yeah? Probably. Meaning that this is the problem we have when we do digital identity management. And to overcome that inherent evolutionary issue, we do issue or personalize gadget for people. So that's the business we are in. And that's what we continue to do unless we are redefining evolution and taking some totally new path. People cannot start tomorrow calculating unique numbers, doing unique calculations that can be verified by another person or a system. Believable? So meaning that we are in a business that most probably, until we have the digitalized ecosystem anywhere, will continue with high probability, yes? And so we are not out of business anytime soon for that reason. Some other reason, maybe. The other thing that has been with us all the time, and maybe that is not so kind of inherent, is that we think that there are two different things that person does in this whole scheme of digital identity. It's one thing to say who you are, and the other thing is to say who or to what you consent to. Like, what is the will you have? I can easily say who I am. Doesn't define what I want. So those should be different, and we have tried to make the system so that this is clearly distinguishable, and that's something that I remember we had to struggle, like in 2017 here, when we said that Smart ID has 2 PIN codes. Like, why 2? Like, why couldn't there be 1? Exactly because of the reason, with one you say who you are, and with the other you say what you consent to. So you don't mistakenly consent to by saying who you are. It should be always different, and we still believe that those should be different, because it's so much different from the outcome. Like, for you to know who I am, to the point where you know that I wanted to sell my house to you. So that's a different thing. And with today's technology, and that's also another kind of a long topic already, that what's the biometrics and what biometrics does in the ecosystem in the future. we are true believers that the biometric algorithms are excellent. Like the biometric algorithms differentiate twins better than any human. They are race agnostic more than any human. They have issues with some race, depending on the model, but still they are better than most of the humans and probably all of the humans at the end of the day. But the problem that remains in this internet-based ecosystems is that the person is far, far away on the other end of this line where you only see zeros and ones. You don't see a person. And the person is sending you something over. And you can believe that this is a camera feed that they are sending you over. But it's very hard to prove that it is a camera feed. You can believe that it is a fingerprint sensor that sends you the data. It's very hard to prove that it's a fingerprint sensor that sends the data. The data looks the same, whether it was collected yesterday or now, whether it is artificially generated or from the real person. So that's where the trick still is. And technically, we are not there to kind of overcome it easily. Like we are not able to jump tomorrow to the point where everything is done using the biometrics until we are not sure that the device actually performs the requests of the service provider. So that still is a trick part, but we are very firmly convinced that the biometric algorithms are great. And the last thing why you guys are all here and why we are very happy for you here is that we truly believe that digital identity, and especially the success of digital identity, is never a technology, is never a company, but it's always an ecosystem. And this is like one part of that, maybe, but if we are, I don't know if there's kind of this, this is like, if we are doing this life cycle management for the digital identity, then, and we have done a lot of those things around it as well in history, but most of the times today we are not, somebody else is doing it. Somebody else is taking care of the parts in the ecosystem that needs to be there for the digital identity to thrive. None of that magically appears. All of that is a huge amount of work by somebody. Not by us, like we are only 100 people in SK and we cannot do all of that. And so my message is that we have contributed and we are luckily part of a very strong EID ecosystem here. And that's Pan-Baltic ecosystem, and we're really, really happy that we have such a regional ecosystem already, and we hope to, of course, increase that in the future. But like the partner network we already have is clearly the onboarding partner. Like we have heavy load on the companies who are helping users who are not actually managing that at home with their own devices. That they help them to onboard to Smart ID, to Mobile ID, in the bank office, mobile operator office. We wouldn't be here if they wouldn't help us. That's kind of the only way we are here. And I cannot imagine that there would be a company to do that. That the fact that there was a bunch of companies, there was a huge bunch of companies and a huge amount of people involved in that was a success. Altogether, that we have developers who are actually integrating the solutions into this kind of their area of activity. This is fun, that the developers actually like the solutions we have, that they find the sample codes, that they request new sample codes from us, that they are not happy with the things that we have and are requesting to have new features in there. And that we also respond, that is also good, of course. But the fact that they are asking it is good. Because only through the happiness of developers, really the digital society can thrive. If the developers are unhappy, nothing will happen. Maybe soon if the AI agent is happy, that will take over the developer's role. It's very hard to understand how the AI agent would ever be happy until we are not starting to pay for that. So solution providers, integrators, we have already many companies who have built their own solution on top of our small like eID tool. Those are like document management systems. There are like signing solutions. There are authentication portals. All of those things. Like only thanks to this kind of ecosystem we can thrive, and we're really thankful. Many of you here fulfill one or the other role here, and of course the support services. If you pick up the phone and call to us, there is no SK person all the time around. There is kind of there is one at least all the time around, to be fair. But if an end user calls, then we have partners to take the phone, and those partners guarantee that actually people are happy with the user experience, not SK directly. So really, really happy for the ecosystem we have here. We are of course happy for the strong customer base that we have, and we are of course happy for the brand that we have built, because the brand recognition has really, really gone to the places where we never imagined that to be. We've got this smart ID to be most recognized brand in Estonia as a kind of a good user experience tool. Our friends in Europe don't believe that any security solution could be user friendly. We have proven them wrong. Yeah, and where we are today, we still, from the core of it, we are still quite strong. Like in the things we do, we still deliver similar things that we did a year before. We are trying to a little bit enrich the portfolio, of course, but the core that I told you about, identities, people who actually exist, finding out the attributes of them and making sure that you know in the transaction who is interacting with you, and then allowing them to say who they are and allowing them to say what they want or don't want. We've been investing, I think, 10 plus years at least, roughly like 20% of all the revenues we have directly back into the services, service improvements, service quality improvements, new features. That kind of is the core of SK as well. Owners have been very clear about that this is the intent, that is what we need to do. It's not to maximize the profits and take them out someday, but rather to maximize the service quality that we are offering, because at the end of the day, they are also the users of our services. We have the kind of partners that really happily, luckily, and sometimes being frustrated, test our solutions. Like if we bring something out, you or somebody like you we'll test it out, we'll say whether it kind of works or it doesn't, get rid of that, make more of that. That we actually have this community who is interested, involved, and works with us when we do new things, and we're really, really thankful for that. Today, we don't struggle with the identity. Our struggles in Baltics, it's not to know who somebody is. We know who somebody is. We know that that person acts. We do struggle with the intent of that user. Like what do that user's activities really mean? Like did they mean to do the thing that they do? And that's where, we get to this intent thing, especially because as 25 years ago, today we have a huge issue of fraud. Yeah, there is a fraud, and the fraud doesn't happen at the level that the identity is switched. No, the identity is correct, but the intent is totally incorrect. Like the thing that person has in its head is not the same thing that they see on, for example, in their smart ID screen. These don't match, but there is a slight difference maybe. In their head, they are thinking that they are bringing X amount of money back to their account. In the screen, they see that the same amount of money in the same bank is going away from their bank account. And now they have to do this like split-second decision that, okay, probably the screen is more wise to believe than the talk in my ears. That is hard to do for most. It's hard to do kind of this jump. something is going in another direction, because the data to the most part is the same, and you have to notice really the slight difference there. So the criminals are good in this way, and they are convincing, and they have always been convincing. It's not a new thing. That's why they have the craft of criminality. They can know their stuff. Biggest challenge today still that I want to talk about and want to leave you with from the today is a bit different. That underneath this intenting is this cognitive overload that we have. The digital society, the way how we manage the digital ecosystem as such, has led to the point where by 10 o'clock in the morning, most of the people have done the amount of decisions our brains are meant to for the full day. And those decisions are normally not so meaningful. These are like, do I want to follow that person? Do I want to like this picture? Do I want to comment this post? Do I want to use this or the other app for my lunch? Meaningless decisions. But our cognitive ability is still the same, to make amount of decisions per day. And if we spend that ability on meaningless things in the morning, then if we get this call from the fraudsters at 4 o'clock in the evening, we are bound to not notice the difference between having the money and not having the money on our account. This is, and that's the engineers, that's the technology that has led us there. It isn't like the society as a whole, it's the thing that IT people have created. We have to take some responsibility over these things. And the problematic thing is that our regulations are not helping us there. Like most of the world can happily live with all the cookies or know the cookies that any portal or site wants to give them. Europeans, thanks to our grandmasters in Brussels, we are forced to every time again confirm that I don't want any of the cookies from that site. Because if I'm visiting that site tomorrow or even like a minute later, they for some reason again want to assure themselves that I still don't want to see the cookies from them in my browser. Yeah? As a meaningless decision. As meaningless as it can be. For the most part. Kirill will later prove me wrong. And that's good. But we have like a bunch of those. And unfortunately, when we are going to this wonderful European digital identity wallet, we are bound to do more of those meaningless decisions. We are starting to confirm with every transaction what amount of our personal data we want to share with that service provider. Like, and you can click all of them in and all of them out, and that will be like an additional screen, at least, if not two, for each transaction we do in a personalized manner. And there is no avoidance of that, unfortunately. The thing that actually is hitting us soon, hopefully not for the reason the name indicates. So I don't really think that there will be a quantum computer that is able to attack the algorithms in the coming years. But we have clearly pushed for the post-quantum algorithms for the cryptography. And that's kind of not only EID providers, but that's all of us as a digital society members. We have to take the next step there. We should be there at least in 5 years. And better part of us probably in a couple of years. And in coming years, we fail in those two first points, definitely. And we don't make it by the Christmas of this year with the EUID wallet. There will be no Christmas gifts. So everybody, like, you can wait for Santa Claus to arrive with the identity wallet under your Christmas tree. Probably not going to happen for any of us. And the post-quantum cryptography, that is even worse, because I've seen in 30 years several migrations to new algorithms. And we have known then that there are already existing attacks, and we have always failed to meet the deadlines. And this is like really, really big issue, because we need to protect also data that needs to be secret in 2050. So it's not a question of whether the algorithms will be broken in 2030, but it's about like, is there a probability that our state secrets or business secrets are opened in 30 years if they need to be secret for 100 years, for example, in some cases. And the probability is very, very high. And we have the mechanisms to protect them, and we are lagging behind in implementing them. So that's the future we have ahead. We have a consolidation of technology leadership, of course. We basically have only two options today to choose from. We are either Apple people or Alphabet people, period. Like, there are two kinds of people in the world soon. And then there are wild animals. But basically these are the kind of society members that we have. We have ever greater, this kind of a user greater divide. As a society, small countries as we are more dependent than ever before on others to provide us stuff. We use a lot of the things that they have created, and we do a small portion on top of that that makes that thing a bit Latvian, a bit Lithuanian, a bit Estonian. But the vast majority of that is created somewhere else by somebody else. That means that we are not so much kind of independent from others, and then we only kind of use most of the things that we have around us. So the ones who provide, produce, create will have more and more power, it seems. And the power is actually consolidating quite quickly. And here the kind of the positive news is that I'm still a strong believer in this ecosystem part. That I believe that the strong ecosystem will thrive. And that the ecosystem way of looking at the world that we have had here will continue and will still thrive. Because again, no one stands alone, like no one is an island by itself. So I truly believe that this ecosystem way of building things is going to prevail in the future. So, and now a little bit, 2051. What is going to happen? The statement, of course, is speculation. I have no magic powers. But I'm pretty sure that EU will have some new idea to deal with. Like, it's kind of a, if it isn't dead, it will have a distraction for us with what we should deal at the moment, not to pay attention to the things that we haven't done before. And this will definitely make us great. Like, if America is now doing itself great, then I believe that the EU has done all the time only one thing: let's make EU great again, regulations. And this is definitely an idea in 2051 as well. Then SK, I think that at the bigger scale, a company like us most probably is a non-profit support for something that is globally profit. It's very hard to see that we actually, from the Baltics here, if we kind of, again, the other thing is that we are the big global profit. Don't see that happening at the moment, but rather if we are staying here in Baltics, we can support something that is global. That the globalization does not seem to actually stop, even if we have all the issues we have in the world with the globalization already. And I guess that we are left with very few decisions that actually matter. We have delegated too much of our life, but to amuse ourselves, we will probably have huge amount of decisions that don't make any difference in the world. So probably there's some amusement with the deciding one or the other, but they don't matter much. We provide this kind of a humans in a loop control. Like, probably there's few humans in few loops, but we provide humans in a loop control for privileged few. because most of the humans are not in a loop of most of the loops. Yeah. But some want to be somewhere and they have the power to require it. And probably there's a huge amount of fraud. So I think that never leaves us. If the greed doesn't leave humans, the fraud never leaves. Summary. So we have had great success so far. Probably we can all agree that it's happy days. We are currently building a great ecosystem together, and we should pay a huge amount of attention to partners like you here, whom we are dependent on and who is gaining from our success and whose success are we sharing. So I'm really positive in that regard that we are doing the right thing for the future. We need to make sure that we are creators of something, at least, that we have some meaningful part of the systems that we create, and we are not only users of that, because when we are losing the ability to create, then we are actually giving away our independence. And the fact that you are today here is a great celebration of the fact that human connections matter. We are happy that you are here, because I think that the connection with you makes us great and makes all of us better tomorrow. So thank you.